Dear parents, I am Sarah Fong, HOD English at Suchin Primary. I would like to share with you the requirements for English language at Primary 4. There are 4 components in the English language examination. Paper 1 is writing, Paper 2, language use and comprehension, Paper 3, listening comprehension, and Paper 4, oral communication. The requirements for the different components are taught in class. I will be going through the key points to note for each component, starting with Paper 1. Students are to write a composition of at least 120 words on a given topic. 3 pictures are given to provide ideas for the topic. Students may come up with their own interpretation of the topic, and helping words are provided. This is an example of a composition question. Students have to interpret the topic correctly and make use of at least one of the pictures to write about the topic. They need to develop the ideas and use vocabulary effectively. The model composition here shows how it has included the points required by the question. This part shows the first 2 points, namely what event it was and how the event went. This is followed by the next 2 points on what the people did at the event and how the story ended. We shall next move on to Paper 3, Listening Comprehension, which comprises picture matching and sequencing, note-taking, and comprehension. This is an example of a picture matching question where students select the picture that matches the sentence read. This is an example of a sequencing question where students order the pictures to match the sequence read. For note-taking, students listen to a text and fill in each blank with a word or words. For comprehension, students listen to a text and answer multiple choice questions. We will now move on to Paper 4, Oral Communication. It comprises reading aloud, which assesses students' ability to read clearly and fluently. It also includes stimulus-based conversation, which assesses students' ability to engage in a conversation on a topic. Here is an example of a stimulus-based conversation item. These are some prompts that students will be asked by the oral examiner. Here is a suggested response to a prompt. Students have to answer the prompt and give their personal opinions with examples to support their response. Last but not least, let us look at Paper 2, Language Use and Comprehension. These are the components for Booklet A and B. This is an example of a vocabulary MCQ where students have to make use of their prior knowledge and contextual clues provided in the question to pick the correct answer. Next is a grammar MCQ where students identify the clues in the question to help them derive the correct grammar option for the answer. There are 2 grammar closed passages where the first one assesses students' use of personal pronouns and or possessive determiners. The second closed passage is about subject-verb agreement, as shown here. Next is an example for synthesis and transformation. Students need to rewrite the given sentence or sentences using the word or words provided. They need to ensure there is no change in meaning when the two sentences are combined. The tenses, punctuation, and spelling of the words must be correct too. For editing, spelling and grammar are tested in one passage. Editing also includes that of punctuation. For comprehension open-ended, one type of question is selected response, and an example is shown here. This is a second example for selected response. Comprehension also includes open-ended items, like the two examples shown here. Sequencing is another item that is tested as well. These are the skills needed to do well for paper 2. In terms of language items, students need to know the different grammar items and meanings of words to be able to understand sentences. They also need to use contextual clues to derive the answers. For comprehension, students need to show an understanding of the text using annotation. They have to identify main details and sequence of events. Students need to be able to differentiate true and false information and justify with reasons. They also need to know the meaning of words in context and be able to predict the development of the text. These are some common mistakes observed of students for some components. For stimulus-based conversation, students give responses that lack elaboration. They are also not as able to differentiate the forms of a verb and show poor understanding of subject-verb agreement. They also tend to not check their answers against the text given. Some are not able to support their answers with the right reasons. Here is a spelling strategy that you may use to help your child practice spelling. It is the look, say, cover, write, check strategy. It starts with the child looking at the word carefully, after which the child says the word aloud. This is followed by covering of the word and then writing the word down from memory. The final step is to check the answer letter by letter. This is a link to other spelling strategies should you be interested to find out more. The next two slides aim to share some ways in which parents may support their children. For reading, encourage your child to read a variety of reading materials. Select books which are more challenging as your child becomes more independent in reading. Your child may build a list of vocabulary by writing it down in a notebook that he or she can refer to when writing. Try to have conversations with your child on the books that he or she is reading. This will show your child that you're interested in their learning and will encourage them to read more. For speaking, listening, and writing, Discuss the latest news with your child and encourage your child to share opinions on current affairs. Encourage your child to listen to different audio and spoken texts to improve their understanding of these texts. Do also encourage your child to read model compositions and note down useful words and phrases to be used in their own writing. Provide opportunities for your child to practice writing regardless of the length of writing. Remember that language skills take time to develop and cannot be learned overnight. Therefore, it is important for students to persevere as they develop and practice their language skills. Let us support them in this journey as much as we can. I have come to the end of my sharing. For further queries, do consult your child's English teacher. Thank you, parents, for your time and attention.